Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Stan again. I've been wanting to make this video for a while. I've taken about six attempts at it, and it's not until a Sunday morning at 2:30 a.m. after doing the assaults, after checking out the MMO Champion forums and the WoW General forums. That's right. When I browse the forums at 2:30 a.m., I'm actually browsing the forums. So I checked in on a topic, and it's a topic on MMO Champion. It's about a Mythic Raider saying that there's no difference in item level between a Mythic Raider and someone who doesn't raid Mythic. And he's kind of true. Now people can say, oh, well, that's really rare, but that's not the part that I want to focus on. So, we're going to take a look over at my monk. His transmog's not terrible. I really like the sentinel grips. Like, that's armored, and that's not. So I feel like I can transmog that into something less gritty. So I'm going to load up my raid character, show you what my main character is as a heroic raider. I've been behind a little bit on my overall raid progress, but I mean, this is my UI. It's not great. It's not terrible either. Heroic raider. Now, it says 371. Actual item level 375. Here's why it's lowered. Using a 310. Why? Because it has the best stats for me. Go down. Heroic trinket. It's not amazing. I have a 390 Titanforged World Boss trinket compared to the 370 that I could have gotten. Am I happy that I got it? Yeah, sure, I'm happy that I got a 390 socketed trinket. That's never really going to happen. I've got 370 weapons. They don't have my best stats, but, you know, they've got stats. 385 head with a decent trait. 370 shoulders with best trait. Then I've got my raiding chest, which after I'm done with the raid, I think I still have a decent one. I think I need to get rid of Elemental Whirl. If I can get a better chest piece without Elemental Whirl. But as you can see, none of my gear other than the ring is below 370. Everything else is basically 370, 385, stuff like that. And Titanforging does happen. As you can see, I've also got other Titanforged gear that I just replaced. It's like 340s that Titanforge into 370s. This is my heroic raid tune. I want you to keep that in mind. 371, well, 35 hard Vazaroth. This tune that's never done any form of organized content, hasn't cleared a regular mythic, hasn't cleared a mythic plus. I need you to look at this.
Army is pushing hard into
Yeah, don't care about that.
Make them regret every foot they
Where
set
can
upon
I-
our soil.
Okay, Mythic Keystones. I have run 0 Mythic Keystones this season. Item level of 366. Item level of 366. How did I do this? World Boss. Crafted. I think that was from the cash from a weekly reward from time walking. I can't be too sure. Raid Finder. No, wait. What was that from? No. Anyways. Raid Finder. Warforged 375. It's from stuff like this. Sound effects guaranteed 370 gear. Titanforge 385 with a socket. So that's 2 characters with Titanforged gear, and you know what, I'll even count that. 360 socket. It's got leech on it. 385, again, just like the monk, it is the world boss Azerite helmet. Level 31 compared to the level 35. 375, 370, 375. Now, if you're wondering how I have a Mythic 7 item when it shows I haven't done any Mythics, currency, Titan Residue. All of those 370 Azerite pieces that you get from Warfronts, from the world bosses, from the weekly PvP quests, from invasions, from daily caches. Cash those in, you get 12. It only takes 165 for a 385, and I spent only 50, I think, on that. So could always get another free one. 370 Warfront weapon, 385 weapon. Still wielding a 320 item. Item level's technically 367. There is pretty much 0 difference between what I'm doing on my mage and what I'm doing on my monk. Now where this becomes a problem. Let's open up the adventure guide. What does it say I should do? It says I should do Old Deer. It says I should do Myth Keystones. Well, I don't have a keystone, but I could always check for other people's keystones. So let's do this, since everyone's saying that they require Raider IO for anything above a 2. Let's see if we can find something above a 2. That's a mount run plus 8. They probably are screening, but it's not saying anything about IO. So twitch.tv/IamRepBra. Somebody report him. I'm going to report him to Blizzard after this, because he's saying followers/subs get their +7 to +9 keys carried. 1, misspelled there. 2, if you are doing it for subs only, they're paying you for it. It might be a very small amount, but they're still paying you. +14 Raider IO. Okay, first thing to mention Raider IO. +7 Freehold doesn't mention Raider IO. +9 doesn't mention Raider IO. +7 doesn't mention Raider IO. That just says bring your A game for a +6. People are like, oh, that's low anyways. Now listen, if I start playing, and let's say this wasn't my alt, let's say this was my main, and I am casual little Timmy, I would apply to these +7s and +9s. I don't know what this week is. Like, tech, I think this week is sanguine and teaming or something. That's a lot. Right? That's not something that you just go into without anything. You know why? Because I'll die. I'll burn these people's keys. Right? It won't be a fun experience for me or them. Because they will lose out on an upgrade to the key, which they went in for. They will lose out on a chance at better gear because they won't upgrade the key. They'll have just a worse time. I don't know anyone who thinks, yes, let me go into a Mythic +7, Mythic +9, and wipe. Because in order for me to get basically anything out of it, I must go there. I could probably buy it better offhand, but that's not the point. So So really, what am I saying here? Okay, well, let's look at old deer. Well, old deer. What are some of the loot? We'll go normal. Normal old deer. All specs. Well, get a wand. That's not an upgrade. By far, I'd need a mythic to be able to get an upgrade. That might be an upgrade. I mean, it's 355. I got 355. That would be an upgrade. Not much of an upgrade, but an upgrade. Well, I mean, it's Azurite gear, but it's Azurite gear that I already have better of. Why would I go for that when my main hand weapon is pretty much stronger than that staff? Cloak, again, like none of these are really upgrades. The only upgrades that I'd be able to get are maybe trinkets. It's like, okay, one trinket. And Gahoon's just garbage loot. Let's kick it up to heroic. Actually, before we do any of this, let's do this. Let's kick it up to heroic. Heroic's a bit better. Heroic, I can get an upgrade on a lot of items now. Sorry, this is just gonna bug the shit out of me. Where did I get that ring? I still have no idea where I got that ring from. That's kind of annoying. But, I mean, now I have a chance at upgrades. Like, if you see what I'm saying here, I've got a chance at some upgrades. Trinket's an upgrade. You know, offhand's a definite upgrade. That looks like it might be an upgrade. Rings are all secondary stats. If somebody's telling you, oh, you shouldn't wear a 310 if it has your best stats, because that 370, if that has your worst stats, that gives you more stamina, though that's better. No, fuck off. The stat budget for rings is basically okay. Wouldn't get an upgrade from that. I mean, if I upgrade my 320, I won't really be, like, gaining anything from switching over. I'll be losing a socket. So, as you can see, I'm basically already geared out in heroic gear. It would just be a few items, like trinkets or maybe Azurite gear that I'd be going for. So, as little Timmy would see some of these upgrades. Little Timmy would go for it. Why do normal? Done LFR. Go straight to heroic. Wipe, get kicked. Join a normal group. You will wipe in normal. You will wipe in normal. Normal pugs are not guaranteed. You'll kill Talic on normal, sure. Heroic, you'll die to beams. Mother, if you can dodge beams and kill ads, you'll be fine, or if you can solo room it. Fed to Devourer, you can't really die. I mean, the only thing that kills you on Mother is not moving or getting hit by beams. Zekvaz, a little more of a pain in the neck because of ads, but you should be able to handle it. Vectis, I don't get what, like, is there something about this, like, just Brechtel boss that makes it impossible for people to understand don't move? Like, is there something difficult about that? If you have the debuff, you do not move your character. You have somebody stand next to you. They do not move their character. You pass that debuff to and fro for the rest of the remainder of that fight. That would be the only thing that would wipe you, that and not killing ads fast enough, which I believe that pugs would wipe too. So, I don't know, there's a weird thing going on in LFR right now where people are pulling the blood shapers to Zool. I don't know if they realize why that's a bad thing, but we should probably help them realize that's a bad thing. Mithrax, even on normal, yeah, it's not gonna work. I don't even think there's a change between heroic and normal other than damage. Gahoon, yeah, you need like dedicated fucking orb throwers for that. Fuck Blade Spreader Tendril, by the way. Fuck you. So, this video is getting pretty long, but my point still stands the same, and a lot of you are probably going to say, oh, you just don't want people to have the same item level as you. I don't care if you have the same item level as me. My point is, currently, the game is fucking with people. Suggested content, Mythic Keystones, Old Deer, both of which don't give you any upgrades until you're higher in it. So you then get people to go in and fail because the game fails, because the game has fed to you that item level is an important number, right? And what does this feeding the item level is an important number and adding Titanforge do? It devalues item level. So Blizzard wants you to care about item level, but thanks to Titanforging, now devalues item level. So the community, at least the Mythic Plus community, comes up with a system called Raider.io. Shows your best dungeons ran in time during a season, segregates the community, people complain. Is it the fault of the community? No, because people don't want to burn their keys. Is it Timmy's fault? No, because he's told that he should go into that content. Is it the group's fault? No, because they were told basically through item level that Timmy should be able to do the content. And to all the people saying, well, you could do like a +4 in 370 gear and just get carried by the gear. You can't. You're an idiot. You obviously don't do Mythic Plus, right? Even a +4 cannot be carried simply by gear. You still have to know how to do a few things, one of which is play your fucking class. If you are a mage, you need to spell steal. If you are a druid, you can soothe. If you are a shaman, you can purge. You need to use your class's abilities. Little Timmy probably doesn't understand spell steal because the game doesn't teach you. And so I've tried to explain this to people. It's like, listen, it's the game's fault. The system's fucked. It's not fair. The only way to really fix this is if Blizzard wants to make item level matter again. Fucking, okay, get rid of Titanforging. Make it to where I can't have make it to where I can't have a tune that's geared for heroic raiding without stepping foot into a raid. Just do that. Because in a month, this tune, who will still not do heroic raiding, who will still not touch that content, thanks to the warfronts, thanks to the assaults, thanks to world quests, they're going to be like 380 item level. And then Old Deer is going to be dead. Because Blizzard, with Titanforging, with constantly raising item level, because they got butthurt over a single piece of tier gear being disenchanted from a mythic first kill in Blackrock Foundry after the group had run multiple split runs and after your gear had just been shit off that boss. And they're like, oh, we need to make each new tier feel rewarding. Every new tier needs to feel rewarding, folks. Heroic, 370. Old Deer. Heroic of the next raid, 400. 30 item level gap. We don't need that. 15 item level gap is fine. Oh, but then if you have the 15 item level gap, the people that run a mythic old deer won't feel like they get an upgrade. Pretty sure they'll feel like they get upgrades, just from the sheer number of pieces available. Also, another thing, I don't know if in Season 2 we're getting that extra layer, right? I don't know if we're getting that retroactively placed onto our gear. If we're not, we're fucked. So, there's that. But this shouldn't be happening, guys. It just shouldn't. There's no like, well, you're just saying that because you're a heroic wader and you don't want people to have high item level gear. No, it's more like I don't want a person that just does like a random street race going into the Indy 500 and then cursing the racing industry for his failure. I want people to be able to succeed. The current system, Blizzard, is setting up the game for failure. It's setting up new players for failure. What can little Timmy do, or little Jimmy? They can find a guild. Here's the thing with that. There is no in-game quest that says find a good guild. Currently, I am lucky enough to have this character in Convert to Raid. I have my monk in Convert to Raid as well. My rogue, however, is in a cesspool guild. The levels. Yay. So, before this thing gets like fucking 30 minutes long, I want to make my point very clear. My point is not, and it has never been, that little Jimmy and little Timmy should never get loot because it makes me feel less special. It is, little Jimmy and little Timmy need to not be set up for failure by Blizzard's Titanforge system. Because when you give somebody an extreme reward for no effort, then you essentially devalue their time. This is similar to when you first get a video game, say like Legacy of Goku 1, and you grind out to maximum level on that first enemy on the first stage of Namek, and you grind out to the maximum level, maximum health, maximum flight, and you cannot be touched by anything until Frieza's final form. Or when you go into a Pokemon game and you have unlimited rare candies and unlimited Master Balls. It just takes the fun out of the game, and they are more likely to quit sooner. Some people like to say, oh no, they'll just get better. While these same people say that, they also say that trying to make a player get better doesn't work. Well, I'm here to tell you now, son, it's not gonna work. Little Timmy will quit. Little Jimmy will quit. The only way that we can fix this is for Blizzard to roll back the power creep. This is why we have item level squishes. This is why we have number squishes, because we go to such insane lengths. I called this from the very beginning. By the time we get to Ajara, our item level will be 100 times more than the base freaking like mythics that we were running week 1. It's gonna be 440. Right? Like mythic Ajara raid will be 445. Heroic Ajara raid will be 430. This is, I don't know, maybe guessing that they're not going to do something stupid, like make the Crucible of Storms gear fucking just for some reason super super high level. Like if they try to make it any better than Battlefield's lore, I think it's really stupid. Of course, if they don't do that, then people will say, well, there's no reason to run the new raid. fuck off. There's always a reason to run a new raid. This is a 2-boss raid, likely with very little trash. You guys need to understand, okay? I want the people who try to like twist the argument and say that it's just about little Timmy and little Jimmy getting higher item level stuff. You need to understand I don't want them to quit. I don't care about little Jimmy and little Timmy getting higher item level stuff. I really don't. It doesn't affect me. In my raid team, I don't get affected when little Jimmy from another realm in another raid team gets a higher item level piece of gear than me. Doesn't matter. Titanforge items drop off bosses all the time. It doesn't fucking matter. Oh, well, Titanforging keeps loot exciting. No, it doesn't. It makes loot disappointing when you don't get Titanforged. That's all it does. But people wanna... I don't know. I'm hoping that... I'm hoping I can do something, maybe get across to a couple people, like, my problem with this. Which is a very simple problem. It's a very simple fix. It's not coming out of a place of I don't want them to get this gear. It's coming out of a place of they don't need it. It hurts the game to overbuff them. If you're going to give them this gear, give them a challenge. Give an open world challenge. Make world bosses harder. Make like an open world dungeon. Give them a challenge so they get better. Give them Mage Tower. Bring back the Mage Tower. Do something to where they earn this gear. Dude, looks so good. So, anyways, that's what I got to say. If this annoys people, I'm sorry. It's just like basic thought. You know, it's not really difficult. Of course, I will be called an extremely elitist player. Anyways, I've got to finish making my character for the D&D campaign I'm running in Waterdeep. So, have fun.